Alright guys, so today's the first day of filming up here in Columbus, Ohio for this week's episode, and we've got a pretty busy schedule for the next few days. We're going to be heading over to the Gateway University District to kind of showcase some of the variety of shops that they have there. We're going to be highlighting a new pizzeria that opened up and really touching base with the guys over at the District PourHouse to talk about the craft beer community in Columbus, and also include a couple of those craft beer hotspots like Wolf's Ridge and Seventh Son. So we're really excited for this episode, and we're looking forward to sharing it with you.
I am Christiana Moffa, and I'm the property manager here at the Gateway University District.
And I'm Leslie Edwards, the Director of Community Engagement here at Gateway University District.
So the Gateway is what we like to say that is the perfect intersection of university and city life. So it is on the southern edge, or just south of the Ohio State campus, and then just north of the short north. So it's the perfect destination for citygoers and for OSU students, faculty, staff, a place to really help those two communities sort of meld together.
We really want this to be, a space that feels true to Columbus and feels true to the surrounding neighborhoods. And the surrounding neighborhoods include students, the university. It includes this residential section over here in Wyland Park, and it includes the Short North, which is, this kind of arts, cool, vibrant district. So I think it really, truly is the perfect trifecta landing spot of those elements.
Yeah, and there's a sense of authenticity around it as well, because we do have a lot of local businesses, from retail to food and beverage to the Gateway Film Center, which is one of the 24 Sundance cinemas in the country, and it shows a lot of indie films, docu-series and documentaries that you wouldn't see elsewhere. And you're not really going to find that in a lot of other places in Columbus, it just in one walkable spot. The tenants that we have here really vary from boutique retail, like I said, to food and beverage and entertainment.
So really, this plaza right here is really the only common space on the property. So our goal is to try to activate this plaza as often and in as many fun ways as we can. Yeah. So we do that in a couple ways. We have some ongoing series. The first is Local and Live, which is a local music series that we've partnered with CD 102.5, a local radio station, on for several years. It's Friday and Saturday nights. We usually start it around Memorial Day and take it through Labor Day. And the goal is just to kind of showcase all of the great local music talent that we have
so
here
much
in Columbus. I mean, Columbus is really much more of a music city than I think people realize. Yeah. So the goal is to showcase that. And it's really nice because it's the stage is up here in the beer garden, and you can grab a beer and sit out and listen to music. And it's an eclectic mix of musicians as well. Yeah. The group that does the booking really tries to find some variance in the types of artists that they pick.
Electronica, bluegrass, indie, a little
folk.
Bit, we had hip hop and rap, so it's a little bit of everything.
A little something for everybody. We also have a huge, it's probably our biggest event that we do all year, called Yappy Hour. We are all animal lovers here. Yes, so that event, I think, was really just born out of the passion of this one right here.
It's kind of one of my passions is pet rescue, and I have a lot of friends in the community, so I got kind of roped into it, if you will, or pawed into it when I moved back to Columbus in early 2015. And this just proved to be a great venue for an event like that, where rescues and vendors and people could come out and bring their dogs. They could find other dogs to adopt. We also had cats and bunnies. We had a potbelly pig named Schnitzel.
That's right.
But talk about building community and community events. People love that whether it's Yappy Hour or movies or Local and Live or tailgating, that they can come to a place where they can mix and mingle with their friends, furry and human, and just have a great time, in this awesome location with our, festive lighting and our beautiful murals and our really cool local tenants and just really great people all around.
My name's Palmo Aracri. I own Cafe Napolitana. We opened up back in 1992. That's downtown, Broad and High. So after 28 years, my wife and I decided that we needed to expand a little bit. So we decided to come down the street here, or up the street, I should say, to Gateway, OSU campus. And it makes perfect sense for us. A lot of our business being on campus and downtown, we depend on foot traffic and not necessarily automobiles. So we perfected our product, mostly pizza butter slice. We do have subs, calzones, strombolis. It's a perfect product for us to bring to campus area. We make our own sauce, we make our own dough. So you're more of a baker, and you don't put it, you don't get a frozen crust and put it in a conveyor and wait for it to come out the other side. It's a simple product, but it's not simple to make, if that makes any sense. So it's a very new business, and we're excited to be here. We really are. I've always been told that kids, they get drunk, they eat anything. I think that's changed. I think they're looking for a good deal and a good product, and that's where we're here for. I think they recognize that we have really good food, and our business is already growing every week, so we're excited to be here.
Yeah. I think that's
thank you very much. I appreciate it.
We just wrapped up our interviews this morning here at the Gateway, and before we head back over to the District PourHouse tonight, we've got 2 more stops. We'll be making our way over to the 4th Street corridor in Italian Village to stop by Seventh Son Brewing, and then pop into Wolf's Ridge Brewing just down the road.
My name is Colin Castor. I'm one of the co-founders of Seventh Son Brewing, along with my friends Jen Burton and Travis Spencer. We opened in April of 2013, 4/20/2013. I think we've done almost 200 beers in that time. So we really made a point to not just experimentation for the sake of experimentation, but really do like a ton of different styles that we enjoy. We just had a beer called Almighty Thicket, which was a blackberry saison, kettle soured fruit fall beer to Brute IPA. It's a new style of IPAs that are coming out where you add an enzyme to it, and it dries the beer out all the way and takes all the residual sugar out of it. So you're really just left with like just hops and just malt and no other sweetness, which is kind of cool. So we do new things all the time. So our core beers are definitely Humulus Nimbus Pale. It's a 6% pale, light, refreshing kind of malt body, but a really kind of vibrant tropical hop character to it. Then Proliferous Double IPA, great double IPA, got rated in Paste Magazine as one of the top 20 double IPAs in the country, which is really cool for us. We do a Stone Fort Oat Brown Ale, which is really nice roasty brown, which is not hoppy, but great flavor to it and everything. And then we have a assistant manager beer named after a brewery cat, who's kind of a fixture around these parts. He's our all-natural pest control. And that's a 4.5% golden ale that's just like really nice, easy drinking, enjoyable beer. We really try and provide great beer to the community and kind of local Columbus area. And we try and provide a really nice space for people to enjoy the beer also. At the 5th year anniversary, we also got open this, which is a great space with a lot more production capacity and a really cool rooftop patio bar here with a retractable roof. So this has been a really fun year. Like I touched on a little bit, the expansion here has been awesome, and we have more capacity and we're able to make more beer. We're sending beer up to Cleveland a little bit. That's really cool. But then what we're really, really excited about, we're doing another project that's going to be opening in the Brewery District called Antiques on High. That's entirely focused on wood-aged, sour, and wild beers, and then some really cool cocktails also. That space, 714 South High, should be opening very shortly, within like a week or so. So we're excited to bring that to Columbus too.
My name's Jenny. I was one of the first people hired back in 2013, and mostly just did, bartending, front of house style work. And then we decided to bring all of our marketing and communications in-house. So I work with a small team of other people and basically run all of our marketing and branding and social media. So Wolf's Ridge is independently owned, and it's operated by the Suter family. It's a father-son team, Alan and Bob. Essentially, Bob, the son, always dreamed of owning a restaurant. Okay. And his dad, Alan, had been home brewing for about 20 years in his garage. So Alan wanted to do a brew pub concept because it gave them both the ability to do what they wanted. We've always liked to take risks and to be creative. For, I would say, a relatively small brew house, we have a lot of taps to fill here. Like in our tap room, for instance, we have 20 draft lines, and it's all our own beer. So we realized pretty quickly when we opened this space that we we didn't have the ability to brew 20 different beers and have them tapped at all times. So out of that necessity came, like, our head brewer, Chris Davison, realized he needed to get creative with infusions and barrel-aged variants. So that began one of our first trends here, but the passion for innovation and creativity has always been what's driven us. So whether it was the infusions or taking Direwolf and putting it in barrels and coming out with barrel-aged series to what we've been doing more recently, which is doing sour beers. Those are really fun because it takes a long time to get the final products. There's a couple different ways to produce sour beers. You can do kettle sours, which basically means that you are doing a regular brew cycle in the tanks, and it's very, very quick. You basically inject the beer with the sour yeast strain. Or you can do the second way, which is what we do, which is traditional barrel fermentation, and that takes months. So it's been a labor of love, and
very intimate process. Very
intimate. Things can go wrong, and I think Columbus is sort of getting behind it. I know Pretentious Barrel House opens. They just had their 1-year anniversary, and they're a fully just sour dedicated brewery, which that was the first one in Columbus. And Seventh Son's opening, Antiques on High, I think their soft opening is this week.
Yeah, they mentioned that.
Yeah, so like I think the city in general is starting to get behind it, and you know, like we talked about earlier, we were definitely among the first to start dabbling, but the more breweries in the city that start doing it, the better it is for us, because the more Columbus is like, okay, sour beer.
This is what's new.
This is what's happening.
Yeah.
So yeah, like just being innovative and just always being passionate and not feeling like we're just gonna settle for what's working. Like we're always trying to push and do new things.
I think it goes without saying that a lot of people have become very passionate about beer here in Columbus, Ohio over the last 5 years, and a lot of that has to do with the craft beer scene that we've been able to establish here. And I felt like a great way to tie that concept all together was to sit down with my general manager at the District PourHouse, Brian McGlothlin, and have him explain to us what it is that makes this craft beer community so special.
You know, I mean, obviously our main focus is to support and showcase local craft beer that embraces beer as an art form, but we also don't want to be too pretentious. You know, we have high-end beers, we have stuff that you'll only find in very limited locations in the city. We get access to, you know, to rare kegs and really cool events and beer-centric events, and we love that part, and we love supporting the community and showcasing that. And we don't want to take ourselves too seriously, so we have some cheaper, what we call, you know, retro beers, or like the beers you grew up and your dad drinks when he's mowing the lawn. Like we have you covered. And you know, we wanted an environment that was relaxed, not pretentious, good food, encourage you to stay, play some video games, you know, just have fun. I think that's where craft beer as a whole has gotten to, thankfully. You know, you can sit next to your friend drinking, you know, a Genesee or a Bud Light, and your other friend's drinking Quack, or, you know, and nobody's going to say anything or have, you know, and I think we wanted a concept that kind of reflected that, you know, casual but like local craft and high-end stuff. I think we can have it both now. We don't need to have the pretentious beer bars with like the fun bars. We can kind of fuse that together, and that's kind of what we wanted with this concept. We liked a lot of what we were as World of Beer, but we also realized that we could probably offer something that was a little bit more appealing and get some of this younger traffic in and really play up the exploration aspect and you know, learning beer. Everybody has a starting point, you know, in their journey when they're learning craft beer, you know, whether it be you're drinking Natty Light or Bud Light at a, you know, playing beer pong at your friend's college party. That might be your first introduction to beer, or stealing, you know, a sip of your dad's Old Milwaukee, you know, when he's drinking it at home. So everybody has their own little starting point, but we didn't want to alienate people that really only know the beginnings of beer. You know, if you come in and you're like, all I drink's Natty Light, or all I drink is Bud Light. Okay, well, here's your Bud Light. We have it on draft all day. Like, you know, cool, drink your Bud Light. Here's a sample of Pilsner Urquell, or here's a sample of, you know, Kronenberg. You know, try something different that you wouldn't normally try.
Explore those tastes a little bit.
Yeah, and then, you know, all it takes is that one beer that just rings, and you know, you hook them for life, and then you become just obsessed with craft beer, which, you know, most of us working in this industry have that story where we started. Thankfully, we have a lot of analytical data that comes from our sales, so we've watched that on a constant basis and start seeing what's popular. We keep up on the trends. You know, right now, just the big word that's popular is just local. Like, everything's locally driven. You know, sometimes to a fault. Like, you know, I think sometimes new craft beer drinkers are so focused on local, they're missing out on some great craft stuff from other parts of the U.S. or parts of the world. But there's a lot of great local breweries in Columbus, and it's exciting to get people will explore all their local breweries. Like, oh, I was just at that brewery the other day, and you got this beer on tap, and so that local's like probably the biggest trend right now.
Okay.
I would say as far as beer styles, IPAs have been hot and they're still hot. The New England style hazy IPA is running wild right now. Like, we actually have dedicated a line to nothing but hazy New England style IPAs because it's so popular. We want to keep one on at all times. A trend that started maybe a year or two ago is like the local, like the light lager trend.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know if the chicken or the egg, which came first, if it was the demand or the brewers. But a lot of the breweries call it the brewers beers.
Okay.
So like it stemmed from like, when brewers are work in a brewery all day, they're not sitting down and drinking an 11% imperial stout for their shift beer. They want something nice and light easy drinking. So a lot of times they would brew like a light lager or something just clean and crisp and refreshing that they could have at the end of the day. And now over the last year or two, that's really come into the market as far as popularity with people. When you get a Rhinegeist Cheetah or a lot of these breweries are dropping their own light lagers to try. I don't think it's a move to try to compete with like the Budweisers and Bud Lights of the world. Yeah. But it gives the craft drinker an option if they want to take a little break from drinking the big hoppy or big malty, big boozy beers. So it gives them an option. And then I guess thirdly, the final one I would say is that sours have really pushed out in the market, and that's been going on for a good couple of years. I think that's a good appeal to. Not to stereotype, but like female drinkers that tend to like wine or cocktails are more comfortable with the sours because the hops are a little off-putting, or the big alcohol boozy beers are really off-putting. So it's a good way to reach wine and cocktail drinkers with that. And I mean there's a lot of variation in that as well. So that's those are really the three big trends that we've been kind of following lately.